Hello, teacher. Today we're going to talk about speaking evidence. Um, the next, please. My partner Abdiel explain you the skill number one.
Hello, teacher. The number one skill is the subject and the verb. Are the fundamental elements the sentence they play specific roles and several important functions in the instructions and the understand. The subject is the elemental that performing the action of the verb or the which the action falls in it provided information about who or what performs on the action of the sentence. Um, the presence of the subject and the verb in the sentence alone the establish and the adequate and coherent grammatical structure. Um, it also helps to convert the information plan. And next.
The second skill is called logical connectors. Okay. What are logical connectors? Logical connectors are used to connect two parts of sentence that have a meaning of relationship. Um, the, we have some examples like two adverbs, close connectors, until, when, as soon as, to time meaning. And then we have connectors, the preposition during, after, because of. Then the next, please.
Okay, skill three. Be careful of appositives. An appositive is a noun that before or after another noun is in general set off from the noun with the commas. If a word is an appositive, it is not the subject. The following appositive structures are both possible in English. For example, we have a Valentine is day. A commercial date is on February 14. The factors is that they are set off with commas. They remember the subjects, articles such as and they. They are commonly used, and they don't have verbs. The next, please.
Okay, and skill four is be careful of present particle. A present particle is the eng for the verbs talking, playing. The present participle is can use a confusion because it can be either a part of the verb or an adjective. It is a part of the verb when it is pressed by some form of the verb be. For example, is for example the companies that often the lowest price will have the most uh, customers, and analysis is a offering is a participle adjective, and the subject is companies, and the full verb will have. And second uh, example is the artisans uh, where demonstrate various carvers the start through the fire. Analysis is a demonstrate is part of the verb because it is a company-wide verb. Next, please.
Okay, and the skill number 5 is and the past participle and are therefore used to for component and the passive voice in the language, including in Spanish. However, in some case, past participle are also used and the adjectives. And the broken dishes were in the sink and the past participle as an adjective. In the end, in the ending is essential the two differentiating between in when you use past participle part of the component tense or as adjective. In the first case, is the past participle is relative to the auxiliary and verb to have will. In the second case, is the past participle directly modifications to the noun. For example, in the books were written by the author, and again in the number and grain books and greetings. Or in another example, the later one sent in be me, and agreement in the number and the gainer letter sent in the next diapositive.
Okay, the next is skill number 6, articles and demonstratives. Okay, what are articles and demonstratives? One specific grammar point that is cited commonly on this is the use of articles. Infinitive articles are used to introduce things. There are not yet specific something sometimes because they have not yet been introduced in a conversation or piece of reading. To continue, we have some examples like the article this, this, a, and. And the next examples with a and an. I had bought a watermelon and a apple for a breakfast. The second example that we have in this deposit is I went to visit a teacher today. It was an interesting place and enjoyed this. Like we can see in this example, we made to use the article a and the next please the next skill please.
Okay, skill 7. Use of verse times and chaos connector correctly. Um, 12 skill 7 include adverse times and casually links connectors. Both of these materials are studied as well as possible because they often confuse. You can learn adverbs of time and conjunctions of conjugate correctly. Sequences using adverbs of time have two basic parents. I will sing that document before you leave. Before you leave, I will sing that document. In ancient essays above, they are actually two cows, namely, you are leaving and I will sing that document. Of the two clauses above, there is in a clause related to time. In the form of you leave, because the word is processed by a verb time before, you can pay attention to the use of common communication. when the verb time is before the preceding sentence. The next, please. So we have an example.
Okay, skill 8 is use the adverse connector correctly. Adverbs in a clause can also express a number of other ideas, such as construct, condition, uh, manner, and place. Uh, because this clause has adverse clause, they have the same structure as the time and cause clause closing skills. Uh, in each of tense, example is there are two class that are correctly joined with adverse connector. In the first sentences is the adverse condition connector if comes in the middle of the sentences. In the second sentence is the adverse construct connector sound at the beginning of the sentence. For example, is one first. Will most students turn in their homework on time? Some ask it for the extension. Uh, White, both class are correct because each clause has a subject and adverb. The connector is my will is correct too. And second is it is impossible to enter the program if you do not have experiences. Teacher, why? Both the first, second clause have a subject and adverb in the connector. Yes, is correct too. Next, please.
Okay, and the next skill is in the connectors. Now close the connectors and get elements in establishing logical and current relationships between different ideas in the sentences. And here are some common noun clause connectors and examples of who to the use it correctly. Remember that it's important to correctly use to the noun clause connectors to maintain clarity and coherency in the joke written or verbal expression. Also make you sure that the noun clause stay and the introduction makes sentences and the properly relative to the rest of the sentence. For example, the what, like, if, where, when, or how, who. The next diapositive.
To continue the skill number 10, conditionals. Well, what are conditionals? Conditionals are used to talk about real or unreal situations. In general, conditional sentence carry the word if. At the same time, the auxiliary verb will or also we can to use will that is to express in future form. Like examples, if I have time, I'll finish the letter. For example, if I do my exposition, I will I will be fine. For example, the nets, please.
Okay, skills 11. Use adjective clause connector correctly. An adjective clause is a clause that describes a noun because the clause is adjective. It is placed directly after the nouns in describe. Adjective clause connectors could be whom for the people, which for things, and that for the people or things. This is the commoding. An adjective connector, I like the book which you recommended, or the other example, the book which you recommended was interesting. Other example could be say the book which is on the table has 5 sections. Next.
Okay, finally, skill is use a adjective clause connector subject correctly. In some clause, adjective clause connector is not just a connector. Adjectives clause can also be the just of the clause at the same time. For example, the woman is filling the clause that is on the table. Adjective clause in the example there is are two clause. Woman is the subject of the verb is the feeling, and it's the subject of the verb is the tense two clause are joined with the connector that. Notice in that in the example the word that service to function at the same uh, at the same time it's a subject of the verse is an it's a connector that joins the two clause. The adjective clause that is the table describe the glass. Um, Example is the secular ran after the woman who had left her credit in the store. And two is the neighborhood reported the man who was trying to break into the car to the police. Okay.
Okay, teacher. It was our speaking evidence. That's it, and thank you see for look at this video. Goodbye.
Thank you, teacher. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.